Hello and welcome to the second season of Charger Chat. Today we have Nadine Bourne back to talk about university news thus far in 2018. And as always, I am your hostess with the mostest, Kiana Quinonez. Let's chat. In the first episode of Season 2, we dive into some serious topics from this week's Charger Bulletin, with stories ranging from the new resident housing changes all the way to a reflection of the Women's March. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. In an article written by Charger Bulletin editor-in-chief Glenn Rohrbacher, news broke of a rapid increase in the Student Counseling Center back in the fall. Here's what we know. In fall 2017, there was a dramatic increase of students at the counseling center. There were over 1,650 appointments booked by December. Although the staff is made up of 4 full-time counselors, the counseling center did not expect to see this type of appointment backup. Charles Anderson, the director of counseling and psychological services, said, quote, "The large picture is we have seen a significant increase, where it would imply another counselor added to the staff," end quote. Some students were not even able to go to their counseling appointments, such as Julia Begman, who said she, quote, "ended up not going after a while because there wasn't an appointment available for a month," end quote. So, in what ways could this issue have been avoided?
I definitely believe that if another counselor is added to the staff, then maybe that will slow down all the backup that they have with the counseling. I think that if anyone that's been to the counseling area that we have on campus, it is a small and intimate type setting. So if somehow the university can expand that and just have more rooms and more availability for students to come, then maybe we could see the numbers drop down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know one point that I saw in the article was they were saying that there wasn't really enough room, but I think if they're seeing such a dramatic increase, it was a 40% increase to previous years, that it's really important that they look at, these new options.
Yeah.
Because in the end, our school population is only going to get bigger. And if you see that there's people are using this resource, which I think is a good thing to use a counseling center, then they're going to have to really work with the students and just create more space.
I think that also if it doesn't work out, then maybe the school can create open forums for students to come together in a safe zone and just talk about what they're going through, because if they're seeing a 40% increase, then something is going on with the students and that issue needs to be addressed.
Definitely. And open forums are really good spaces too, because a lot of my students might not realize that they're going through the same thing. So if I'm in this space that I feel comfortable and I hear that someone's feeling this way, then now I have somebody that I can relate to and talk to about it.
Yeah.
Over the winter break, students were surprised to hear from Residential Life and the new changes they have made while students were away. Almost every building on campus underwent major renovations, as well as the off-campus parking building, Forest Hills. The biggest shock to students? Free laundry. Let's look at the facts. Some of these new improvements include not only the free laundry, but also a new guest policy and infrastructures in the dorm rooms of Forest Hills, Dunham, Gerber, and Bixler Hall. Students are allowed to have up to 3 guests in their dorm, and they do not have to attend the university. The room selection process now ends after 4 days instead of lasting for 6 weeks, which is also relieving to returning students for the next year. Winchester resident Kelsey Novak feels that, quote, "I think the guest policy should have been implemented before," end quote. Salentano resident Lauren Risley said, quote, "I'm happy the back door has access, especially if I'm parked behind Salentano," end quote. So what else are some changes that are necessary for student housing?
I believe that in addition to free housing, we should have more updated laundry machines, because I know living in Salentano, sometimes our machines get broken, and it really sucks because then everyone's laundry schedule is backed up. And also there are only 3 washers and 3 dryers per floor, except for the first floor. The first floor only has 1 washer and 1 dryer, and that just, it doesn't help anybody really.
Yeah, we need more washers and dryers and better ones also. I know the washers on my floor, live on the 2nd floor, had this issue of holding water, which is kind of gross. No one wants to throw their clothes into a washing machine that already has old smelly water sitting in it.
Yeah.
So it's nice that we have free laundry, but it's kind of useless to have free laundry when no one's going to use it.
Right.
So, and then considering just how many kids are not only in the building, but how many more students we're going to get in the upcoming years, like people are going to be using that free laundry and no one's going to want to keep waiting for it.
Exactly.
I think too they should have looked at renovating other buildings because there was an issue with Winchester. Someone's ceiling fell in over the winter break.
Oh.
So renovations are nice, but I think they need to look at like other buildings.
I know that when I went into Sheffield, they repainted, which I thought was very refreshing because, you know, just seeing white and blue, it's very new and you feel, I don't know, in a way younger. I know I felt younger walking in there, but, you know, Gerber and Bixler, they need to be updated because coming from a person that lived in Gerber last year, it really sucked, you know, heat everywhere, there's no air conditioning, and you don't have like a lot of stuff that other students in better buildings have. And I think for freshmen, you know, just coming into a new surrounding, I don't think they want to be in those living environments.
Yeah, because it's nice if the buildings look new, but if they still act and feel old, it kind of defeats the purpose. So I still got a little bit of work to do. It's great to see the university responding to students and listening to what we want to hear. And believe me, we have all been complaining and paying for our laundry. This is only the start to making residential life even better for students in the upcoming future. Managing editor of the Charger Bulletin, Sam Raposa, published an editorial reflecting on the past year of women's movements. We've all seen the big year women have had in 2017, and Raposa recalls the biggest moments that made the news for the fight for gender equality. The editorial listed a number of protests that women activists have taken part in this past year, such as the Women's March in January of 2017. Since late 2017, more women have come out speaking against the men of their industry who have abused their power, sparking the Time's Up movement. Raposa stated that in recent months, there has been an increase of women seeking government positions so they can continue the fight for equality and the gender gap pay. So in what ways can the university be more empowering and inclusive to women?
I believe that if the university can hold meetings just explaining why women throughout the nation have started this movement and what is driving them forward, because I don't think that a lot of people on campus really understands why. So if we just, you know, can talk and like have our voices said and like why this is happening, why that's happening, having both men and women, because I think that the young men at any university can benefit from hearing from this.
Definitely. I know one of my friends, she didn't quite understand the Time's Up movement. And it was, I mean, you think it's like simple to explain and understand, but there was just, she wasn't really understanding the whole issue happening in like Hollywood and how that was transferring over to like businesses. And I think that having that discussion can really help students not only understand the movement, the problem, but also kind of open the door if anybody wants to talk.
Yes.
Because, you know, you never know what people are going through.
Exactly. And I don't know, I just feel like having this movement now when everything in society and government is happening, I just feel that everybody needs to know about this and some way or another they could benefit.
Yeah, and I mean, time's up. Let's talk about this. The time has come. It's safe to say that we're all happy to have these brave women fighting for us and our need to be equal. And it just influences girls to want to be a part of movements and work together. That is all we have for this week's episode of Charger Chat. Thank you, Nadine, for coming and chatting with me. It's always a pleasure. Stay tuned for our next episode coming in February. This is going to be a great season. Stay chatty, Chargers.